Should I be crying? Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about my disability. Yeah. Karen's watching this will just be like, she hasn't got a disability. No, she hasn't got a disability, she's just doing it for clickbait. No! Well, Karen, guess what? I actually have a disability, like, suck on that. Oh, no, disability is like when you're in a wheelchair or you can't walk or you're paralysed. No, Karen, no. Listen here, listen. Let me like give you some info to, like, you know, make you a bit more clever. Disabilities can be invisible, and that's what I have. I just pull up. Today we are going to be talking about me, my body, like what happened to me a couple years back. Yeah, it just started in 2016, like obviously when I was taking like GCSE'S. I think I was probably quite stressed. People keep saying in every video that I keep eating, like in all my, like, you know, intros. Well, guess what? I'm eating again. Let's get down to business. These are all my letters from the doctors. This story starts in 2016 when I was doing my GCSE'S. I think I kind of struggled to do my GCSE'S, like, although I really wanted to pass. I'm just one of those that, like, I'll repeatedly, like, revise something and then I just won't remember it. And then I did pass all my GCSE'S. It used to be, like, I would eat. Within 5 minutes of eating them, like, I would get pain, like, here. I had to, like, if I sat down eating, I had to, like, crouch like this and, like, tense. Because it was just so painful and it was really weird. Like, I'd have to go to the toilet sometimes, you know. I told my, like, mum, and we basically just, like, thought it'd probably be like a lactose problem. Like, I was allergic to lactose or something. It's like, I switched all my diet. Like, I used to have, like, lactose milk. It sort of helped, but it didn't really help, to be honest. So, like, me eating this now, I would have had pain if this was like a few years back. Year 12, I would still get pain, like, we didn't really know what it was. And then, like, I'd have to go to the toilet in the school and it was just like, I didn't like it, it was embarrassing. Tried not to eat as much at school. Like, I eat a lot. I remember this one time I had, like, dip and chips. Crisps, not chips. What? Wrong decision. Don't do that if you have IBD. One day in 2018, I was around someone's house and, like, I'd eaten the food and I just kept getting pain afterwards. But yeah, it was just so painful when it was coming in, like, little bursts. So it's, like, really hard to describe because it was like sharp stabbing pains, and then it would just be fine for like 5 minutes and then it would come back again. The next day we booked a doctor's appointment to go see the doctor because I just couldn't cope, and, like, paracetamol just wasn't doing it for me. Went to the doctors and they said when they do it, like, they press here, like there, and they basically just press all over your tummy to see, like, I guess it can feel where you're tender or you're hurting, and, like, and so she wrote up a letter advising me to go to the hospital, saying it looks like I've got acute appendicitis. We went to the hospital. I think I went with my mum. Oh my god, we was there for ages. We was there for 12 hours. We was waiting in A&E for 12 hours. There was also 2 girls in front of me with the same problem. Like, they was crying and that, and I was like, oh my god, like, why are they crying and I'm not crying? Yeah, so I think they went off to have an operation to get it removed. I had to have blood tests, waited around for 12 hours to have a blood test, and then to obviously see the consultant. And they called me into the room after 12 hours and was like, oh, like, we can obviously feel it's a bit tender. What we're going to do is we're going to refer you to have an ultrasound in the morning, which is like a thing where they put gel on your belly and they use like a, I don't know how to explain it, and then, like, they can obviously see your inside, sort of. So then I had that the next day and had to go back. So I had to go back in the morning, and I think they took all my blood pressure and that again. And, like, she was pressing down with it really hard and it was, like, hurting, and I was like, ah, I was crying when she was giving me an ultrasound. She would press here with the thing, it would hurt. So I had to go back into the waiting room, and then the consultant called me in. He told me to lie down, and then he felt my belly again. I think this was a different man, and he just said to me, we don't think it's appendicitis, we just think growing pains. It's probably your period, you're probably due on your period, it's not appendicitis. But if pain is to, like, still carry on in the next 5 days, then go back to the doctors and see the doctors. For some reason, you know what your body is feeling, you know, but that's not my period pain. Like, I knew deep down that wasn't my period pain, because I know what my period pain feels like, so it was a lot different to what I was experiencing. Anyway, we left it for 5 days. The pain was still there. I was obviously taking quite a lot of like paracetamol, I don't know if anti-inflammatories, oh Jesus Christ. So after the 5 days, booked another doctor's appointment, and same thing happened again. She had to feel my belly, and then she referred me to the hospital again. And so I went trotting back to the hospital. I was just like, look, I'm in pain. He said to come back after 4 days. I'm back and I'm still hurting. I am not better. Obviously, I went back to the hospital and I wasn't really prepared. So they was like, they felt it and they was like, because there was nothing really to do, and they was just like, right, well, we got to take it out. You're gonna have to have a laparoscopy, which is keyhole surgery. So, and that day, it was like 10 at night, and they put me in a ward, and the woman comes in, she goes, I need to give you an injection, and I was like, okay. She goes, yeah, in your bum, and I was like, oh no, me panicking. I didn't really like injections at that point because I wasn't really used to them, and I was like, oh. I was like, can you not do it in my arm? And she was like, oh yeah, okay, we could do it in your arm. I was just like, why suggest my bum in the first place? But I think it's because it travels quicker or something like that. And so the injection was like, I think to stop my blood clotting, because obviously I'm going to be laid down for a while. And so I think they put me on like morphine during the night, like I had a drip into my arm. So like in the video, like there's obviously like a drip going into my arm. Which I had obviously to like calm the pain before I went into the surgery. And then the next morning I woke up, my mum was here. They basically tried to get blood from my arm and it just wasn't working, like my body wasn't giving up blood. So like by the end of it, my arm was looking like this, like it was bruised like from around there to here. So I just wasn't giving any blood. Like it must have done like tried to do it 10 times. And then they basically gave me this consent form. This is my consent form for the operation, because obviously I had literally just turned 18, so now it was I had to consent rather than my mum, because now I was like legally like an adult. On the consent form it says like the name of my procedure, which was like diagnostic laparoscopy and appendectomy. And as soon as I signed it, then that's when they took me down. I remember crying, my mum was upset. I was just like, I don't want to go in, because obviously she couldn't go with me past these doors. I had to go in on my own. And the woman was saying, it's an hour operation, so I'll be out within an hour. My mum will see me within like an hour and a half, whatever. And I went in my arm, they put the anaesthetic in to like knock me out. It was really weird, like I could almost smell it. Like as soon as it went into my body, I could smell it. It was so strange. I remember them opening the doors and then I was just gone. Like, you're just gone for God knows how long. And then I woke up. All I remember is being in this room, which I think is where they leave you for you to wake up. Oh my God, the woman who was looking after me was one of my friends from school's auntie. So she was looking after me. And then they brought me into the room. And then like I asked my mum what, because I was like kind of awake, and I was like, I remember my mum telling me what the time was, and I was like, what? I was like, it's supposed to be an hour operation, and it took 7 hours for me. And because it turns out like they had to like clean all my insides, almost like wash them down because of like poison. There was like poison in my insides, and I was like, that was so strange. Mum like and my grandparents were there. They passed me the phone to my auntie, and I just remember holding it and being like, hello, and I just went and passed it back to my mum like, you're so out of it. Oh my God, I hadn't been sick for 10 years. So my mum gave me a biscuit because I hadn't eaten anything, and like I actually ate it, and then I needed a wee, so I went up to go to the toilet, and my mum and this nurse was like holding me as I was walking to the toilet, and I remember just throwing up everywhere. And I hadn't been sick in 10 years. I have a phobia sick as well, so I was like, oh my God. I was like, no. When I went to leave the next day, like it just hurt to walk. It hurt so much to walk, and I was like in bed for a week, like as in my mum tried to get me to walk around down the road, and I couldn't. I'll be crying because you're in I was in such bad pain. And I just remember like I wasn't eating anything like for that whole week. Like my mum done sausage and mash, and I couldn't even eat a whole sausage. And so I went from like 7 stone 7 to 6 stone 3. Like a few people probably thought I was anorexic at that point, being on holiday and like this was like how skinny I was, because like you can see my hip bones and everything. A month later, after everything happened, like I was feeling a lot better. I forgot what they do is like they take your appendix and send it off for histology, which means they assess it to see if you have any other underlying health issue. And then I got a letter back. So this was the letter I received. Further to your recent visit to the hospital, I have now received the result of the histology from your appendix, which showed inflammation as expected. However, there were changes which may be consistent with Crohn's disease. I was like, oh my god, what is Crohn's disease? I had to search it. And then like when you start reading everything about it and the symptoms, you're like, oh my god. I was like, I know I had this. Like, they haven't even tested me for it really, but I know I have it because all these symptoms are what I've been having the past 2 years of like going to the toilet, having pain when I eat, losing weight, being tired all the time. Also, they said something about it being Crohn's disease. I think I booked up a doctor's appointment and I went to her and I said, like, I got this letter saying that apparently they think I have Crohn's disease. And I was like, to be honest, like having the symptoms like that are displayed, so obviously like having to go toilet and the pain, and then so she wrote up a letter saying the histology from the appendix was suspicious of Crohn's disease. Several granulomatomas, don't know what that is. And then I think they have to test your infection like levels, which is in your stool, and mine was very high, which showed that I had like an infection. She therefore requested a routine screening, blood today, an urgent colonoscopy and MRI scans. I had my MRI. It was really weird. It's like this big tunnel, you go in it, they take images, it's like hold your breath, breathe out, stuff like that. I didn't really hear much about the MRI, and then like a month later I had to go for a colonoscopy. Oh my god, I hated it. So basically, colonoscopy is a camera that goes up your backside through all your intestines to see like if there's any problem. So I had that done, and the day before they give you this like liquid to drink. You cannot eat, you cannot like drink anything else other than like, I don't know, black coffee. But I found out after I'd done it, you can actually have orange squash. I was so annoyed. I was like, oh. So it tasted like salty lemon. It was the worst drink I've ever like tasted in my mouth in my life, and like it makes you go to the toilet like constantly. So then the next day I went in for the camera test. They said to me like, oh, do you want Equinox or like a sedative? So like Equinox is like gas and air, and I was like, oh, do you know what, it can't be that bad. Like, I'll just have gas and air. Like, I don't really want to be sedated and be out of it really. Worst decision of my life. I messed up so bad. I was in so much pain. Obviously there's a screen right next to you, so you can see your insides for yourself. And like what they do is like they burn your insides and then they take like a sample and they pull it out. I just remember crying, and I was like to the nurse, oh, actually, can I have the sedative please? Like, I can't cope. She's like, oh no, it's too late, I'm sorry. She was like, just have more gas and air. And like, I was doing more gas and air, but it was making me dizzy. She had to push down on my stomach because it was quite painful. But yeah, I got my colonoscopy report back probably a little while after. It showed that I do have like ulcers within my intestines, which indicates Crohn's disease. And it says here on the letter that it was in the terminal ileal Crohn's. So then they gave me a prescription straight away, and I had to have blood tests that day. Basically, I went to the pharmacy, yeah, and so I had my prescription letter here. They put me on prednisolone, I don't know how to say that, which is a type of steroid to like obviously help. So I was on them for 2 months here, and like when obviously like when you're on steroids, like if anything bad happened to, like, I needed to carry around this steroid treatment card. I don't know if you can see that. So I had to carry that around with me everywhere I went, just in case like something bad happens to me. Then paramedics need to know that I'm on steroids. And then after me taking steroids, they put me on azathioprine booth, which are these. So these are my azathioprine, which I have to take every day. He basically said, like, with Crohn's disease, it is a lifelong thing. It's not curable. There's no cure for it, basically. So I can go into remission where it might not happen, but then I can flare up again. So I had to have blood tests weekly. I think my iron was low. I had to have an iron infusion, which was this thing here, which it looks like blood, but it's just like dark orange. Twice I have had like, I'll get really bad pain, and like here, I don't know if it was a flare-up, but like I was being sick, like it was just awful pain, awful. And they gave me like more steroids, and they said that I should probably take these because I'm most likely having a flare-up. So I have them here. These are like different ones to what I first got prescribed, but I never use these because I don't like taking steroids, because when I took them I just felt like an old woman. I couldn't walk down the stairs, I was in pain, like my joints were in pain and everything, which is not great, is it? Like obviously some days now, like I'll get really bad pain, or like I'll have to go to the toilet. Like it happens a lot of the time, like pretty much like once a month it'll happen. Crohn's is classed as a disability. So yeah, my disability is classed as invisible, which is this here. But if any of you have Crohn's as well, comment down below and tell me your story, because I love to hear everyone else's story. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is my story on my disability. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you. Also, like, I just want to say the definition of Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is an autoimmune disease that can affect anywhere in your like intestines, so it could be like from up to here as well, it could be in your esophagus. Basically it's just like, say I have milk, which is good bacteria, my body would think it's bad bacteria, so it tries to fight it, which causes my body to inflame, so that's why I get like ulcers within my intestine.